246 years ago, the four most dangerous words in American history were uttered. Tonight, we utter them again. The British are coming. 8 of our British competitors will sail the seas onto American soil once more. They will fire every shot they have in a bid to prove the Commonwealth is superior. Whose side are you on as BattleBots Reborn Cup continues?
Nightmare! Needed to know that you belong here. It's your fucking nightmare.
Hello everyone and welcome to BattleBots Reborn Cup. I am a Barangoat and this is of course the Sam.
It is I, the Sam.
And because today's theme is the British bots taking over, you might notice, you can't see it well, hang on.
You can kind of see it. It's kind of, there you go.
Yeah!
Woohoo!
Anyway, hello, welcome.
Yeah, thanks Nick. I can't wait to get tonight's fight started and see what these British bots have in store for us.
That's right, we've put all of the British bots together in one fight card, except for Monsoon, don't worry about that. And we're going to see if they can do what England failed to do in the Euros and bring it home, because it's never happened in the competition before, and the British bots are desperate for it.
And without further ado, let's go look at tonight's card. Tonight we'll see a rematch between two former finalists when Beta takes on Mauler.
We also have Razor, fresh off of a pair of qualifier wins, set to take on Fight Night by storm when he takes on Freeshipping.
And our main event features two more losing finalists. It's Cobalt taking on Surgeon General. For more on that matchup, let's send it over to our pit reporter, Captain Mantine. Stupid pit reporter.
Wow.
Thank you, moronic commentator numero dos, and we've got a very interesting fight card for you guys today. A lot of new builds, a new complete control, death roll, the chicken drill of Razor, Mauler coming in with a new build that looks gorgeous, Beta with a new build, Ice Wave with a new build. There's just a ton of never before seen builds here that we don't know how the fights are going to go because these are completely redesigned builds. And as for the main event here, which I'm sure you're all looking for my take on, I have always been one to take the vertical spinner over the horizontal spinner because, you know, they tend to do better. And this Cobalt build looks very mean, but I don't know. We've seen Surgeon General pull some things out of its pocket multiple times, so we'll have to see how this goes.
Thank you, Cap. That was very interesting. Putting him aside, we have the first match of the night, Complete Control versus Spitfire. We finally have a new build of the famous Clampbot.
That's right, the Complete Control build was very outdated, and now it's got some new CAD design, very nice looking decals. It just lacks the important stuff, like power, like consistent self-writing. So who knows how well this bot will do in the course of Fight Night, but at least we do get to see a new build. That's always nice.
And it may be a beautiful build, but Spitfire will like the ground clearance that he sees on his opponent.
I don't think there's a single side he has to worry about not going after, so he pretty much just has to avoid the weapon in the front and then go from there. Spitfire, though, isn't the best designed with his own ground clearance issues, so maybe this will be a bit of an even battle. I'm not quite sure, though.
Well, we'll see how the ground clearance goes down in the box.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square, no boxes, no fishnets, and no tricks. Just a robot with far too many assault charges on his record. It's Complete Control! In the blue square, he can drop the base, then drop you neck first over a folding table. Feel the burn from Spitfire!
Let the bot battle begin. Let's see how this new complete control build does, and that's not a good start as Spitfire already flips him into the corner of the box.
Yeah, Spitfire's already gaining some advantage.
Another flip from Spitfire. This is a pretty outdated build now for Spitfire. Once had a very famous fight with Mauler in Season 3 where he somehow came out on the losing end of that, but right now he's looking very good as Complete Control is struggling to get back on his wheels.
Yeah, even outdated, it's serving him well.
At some point, if he wants to get a knockout win, he'd have to back up, but Complete Control is back on his wheels now, and the fight will continue. Oh, and there's a good clamp from Complete Control. Spitfire messed up his angles a little bit, and then he gets flipped. So Complete Control earning some points back with a nice attack there, and he's underneath again, but misses. And Spitfire flipping.
Yeah, lost that opportunity.
Complete Control had a bit of momentum that he just lost, and Spitfire taking it back with another nice flip. This is very good pressure from the British flipper. Starting off the night well for the overseas crew. Complete Control getting pinned in the corner. As long as Spitfire's attacking, Complete Control will not get counted out. He has to actually back away and let Complete Control try to self-right, which he's doing so now.
Yeah, it's interesting to see why he hasn't just let him be counted out, to be honest.
Seems like he's respecting the ability of the Shreemek Complete Control has, who now gets another bite, and maybe Spitfire should respect the weapon as well. He's certainly keeping up the pressure as often as possible.
Another nice flip.
Well, despite the few attacks that Complete Control has had, he is definitely far behind on points. And now, Spitfire has backed off. And then he moves in just enough to get under Complete Control before the self-righting process was complete. The fight wears on as Complete Control is wearing down, doing everything he can to get an opening that can maybe even result in him damaging Spitfire's flipper, but it's just not happening. He's tipped over again.
At this point in time, Complete Control needs to... Whoa, that was an interesting glitch.
Bit of a havoc glitch, but I'm not sure why. We continue anyway.
Anyways, Complete Control really needs to get some moves in, but he just keeps getting flipped.
He's got a lot of exposable ground clearances as we hit the final 10 seconds. This one looks done and dusted. Of course, you never know when it goes to the judges, but I believe Spitfire will feel pretty confident as the final horn sounds. Well, let's take a look at the replays here. It was very similar stuff throughout. It was Spitfire getting a flip and then pinning Complete Control in the corner when he had the chance.
I do want to say Spitfire, obviously, in my eyes, won this match, but I believe that if he showed a different strategy, then he could have probably won by a countdown, knockout, you know, if he just didn't help him flip back over.
You think that'll help or hurt him in the long run, that he kept the fight going and looked impressive during it, but didn't get the knockout win, which might look better in the eyes of the selection committee?
I feel like the knockout would have been so much better in terms of, like, a repertoire of things to have.
Complete Control looking very shaky in his first fight with the new build. What do you think about him?
I don't know, man. I didn't get to see much of him this time, to be honest.
Understandable. And let's see what the judges had to say about what they saw.
The results from the judges are in. Your winner, by unanimous decision, is... Spitfire!
Well, GG, Spitfire.
Yeah, not bad. When you're in the middle like that, we've talked about it before, it's important to start off with a nice, convincing win. And even though he didn't get the knockout, probably because he didn't back away, I still think he's going to be feeling good about that result. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see how he continues to compete in the rest of his matches.
Oh, yeah.
Well, with that aside, going into the second match of the night, we have Deathroll versus Mortis. Deathroll has a good-looking new build, courtesy of Captain Mantine.
That's right, our pit reporter worked very hard on this build. It's got a nice, powerful weapon with rocket booster, of course. Bit heavy. The Shreemek seems to do pretty well too. Just a matter of if he can get under certain opponents and let the disc do its thing.
Well, we've talked before about certain old builds that need replacing. Mortis hasn't been upgraded in a while. What are your thoughts on that?
It's weird because it's still winning fights here and there, so he's clearly doing something right. But yes, the Mortis build is a little outdated. It's got some flimsy structure to the weaponry that Deathroll, I think, will be excited to see and rip off. But again, Mortis is here for a reason, and he's gonna maybe prove it in this fight.
Well, let's go see if he needs to rebuild or not. Down the box.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square. If you think he's gonna let his Kiwi neighbour show him up in BattleBots, you fought wrong. Prepare to simp for Death Roll! In the blue square. This robot can't cut it at Robot Wars but thinks this will be a breeze? God, I haven't seen this much delusion since being on Facebook a couple minutes ago. It's Mortis!
Let the bot battle begin. Mortis coming out a little aggressive, and then takes a shot from the spikes early on.
Deathroll can't really seem to get to any part of the body of Mortis right now.
He's trying to turn and get to the side, but he gyrates, and now Mortis coming in after a flip to try and use the axe. Deathroll able to self-right. Deathroll trying to charge at the front of Mortis, and it's not working as he's flipped again, and a good counter shot by Mortis.
Yeah, Mortis is taking his time to really flip him and then get underneath with his hammer.
Seems like a very well-measured strategy so far from Mortis. Deathroll got a chip there out of the front of Mortis, but he's still struggling for the most part to get underneath. Mortis again working the angles. Can he get the flip with that flipper? And he does.
Didn't get the hit with the hammer though, I think.
That was a very quick self-right by Deathroll. He'll need a few more of those to make sure he stays out of danger.
He'll also need a few more hits to be able to say he did anything.
Yeah, he's definitely behind on points early, but there's a good retaliation shot.
Kudos.
Mortis with an equally quick self-righting maneuver. We go back to square one. Deathroll working angles and getting to the side. Not a lot of damage caused. Misflip by Mortis.
Both bots really just waiting for an opportunity to destroy the other.
Seeing it a lot this year where fights are won with good driving and good tactics. Mortis getting another flip. Deathroll trying to self-right. A little slower this time, and Mortis gets a couple shots. He's under again. Deathroll getting tipped over again, and this is a very troublesome spot for Deathroll. Mortis trying to be patient with that axe too and really time his shot so he doesn't take too much damage. And Deathroll finally back on his wheels. Starting to see a lot of scuff marks on Mortis. I'm not sure how much damage he's actually taken. Deathroll trying to push the issue. He knows he's behind on points.
We'll see if Deathroll can actually get some.
Ooh,
Oh,
he
there we
works the
go.
angles.
There's some hits.
Big shot by Deathroll has Mortis smoking on the left side. That's not good. So how damaged is Mortis now? Because he doesn't have long to survive this fight. Probably 35 seconds or so. Deathroll in hot pursuit again. He senses blood now. Mortis sensing danger, backing up again.
Mortis at this point just really trying to survive. Oh,
Deathroll moves in! And I think he did! He's knocked out! Deathroll's won it! Well, in the beginning of this fight, it was all Mortis, but as the fight wore on, Death Roll slowly worked his way back into it to seal the win.
Yeah, Death Roll really did some silent damage, if we're going to be talking about it.
Mortis had a decent strategy going in. It's not that the strategy was at fault, was it? Because it did work on the first few attempts.
No, I believe that his strategy was really good. It's just down to the fact that Death Roll's weapon was a little stronger, and he got a little more hits at the end.
Who gets a better reflection at the end of the day? Obviously, Death Roll gets the win, but it wasn't the cleanest, and in contrast, that's a decent loss if Mortis is concerned.
I don't know, I'd still say that Death Roll has the better outcome in this situation, because even though Mortis lost, you know, it was still a loss in my mind.
Rip Mortis.
Yeah, rip Mortis, but I think he can feel happy about the way he lost. He went out there at least, got some good attacks, and took it to Death Roll, who would have been favored going into that match, so positives for both machines.
We'll see, too, going forward, if his performance changes based on different bots, and whether or not he'll actually need to be upgraded.
That's true. A lot of questions still. We'll find them out.
Anywho, going into the third match, we have Razor versus Freeshipping. One of the biggest stories to come from the qualifiers was that of Razor. He has finally turned the corner.
At least we hope. There's enough signs to suggest, but for the first time in 10 different tournaments across the channel and across Patreon, this is the first time he's won 2 fights in the same season, so he's already set some history, and he's looked pretty good doing it, so I think there's more to come from this Razor build.
It's a tough first test for Razor here too, because most bots struggle with flamethrowers, and Freeshipping is ready to bring on the heat.
We saw Quantum especially, who is very similar to Razor with style, struggle in the qualifiers with a flamethrower himself, and we've seen many times now that Gruff is good with the flamethrower. Minibots is also a factor, so anyone that has to go against Flame, you gotta be very careful. And that is one thing Razor hasn't fought yet, so he doesn't know what he needs to do. And quite frankly, I don't know either. I don't know what to tell him.
Well, let's go see if the Razor's flame retardant.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square. If you're scared of his bark, watch out for his bite. He'll whip you more than a new one tonight. It's Razor! In the blue square. This fight will cost you an arm and a leg, then a separate entrance fee, 18% gratuity, but don't worry, you get one nice perk. Free shipping!
Let the bot battle begin. Razor had to grind his way through the qualifiers and is eager to impress the awaiting fans, and there's some early damage from Razor.
Already impressing, one would say.
Freeshipping trying to make sure he's not caught completely blindsided, but he's struggling in the ground clearance battle, and that's a big part of his strategy.
Yeah, Freeshipping keeps losing pieces.
Another bite by Razor. He's trying to line it up, and he takes another chunk off of Freeshipping, and here he goes again. Look out, Freeshipping. I see some smoke as well, as Razor's got a great bite right now. And Freeshipping can do nothing to get away from this. Razor carrying him around the box.
Yeah, poor Freeshipping. Razor's doing what we would expect him to do.
Razor, the Season 2 debutant, has never won more than a single fight in a single season. Already broke that duck with 2 qualifier victories in Season 6. Oh, he spins out of control there. He's got to be very careful not to give Freeshipping any free openings.
Another nice hit there.
The smoke is pouring out of Freeshipping, so that attack from Razor did monumental damage.
Will Razor get another attack soon?
The Ground clearance battle is a bit more even. Free shipping is being a little more stubborn in some of these head-to-head collisions. Razor still working the angles, and working the angles enough to flip free shipping. Now we wonder if he can self-right. The weapon slash Shremek took a lot of damage. Razor trying to move in and finish this conclusively. He's got free shipping pinned, trapped in the corner, and upside down. Free shipping is in a very bad spot.
We can see the damage, and I think he's done.
I think that's it. Razor has won it convincingly. Well, after so many years of hardship for this famous Razor build, that is a very good first win in the Fight Night rounds.
I honestly, not knowing the stats behind him, I went into this match thinking that Razor was gonna win, and I was correct.
And we saw some very good, convincing strategy from him. He was very clean with some of those attacks, getting a nice bite underneath before he brought the beak down.
To me, it'll be interesting to see what he's capable of doing, sorry, free shipping, against a better opponent.
What do you think, Captain Mantine? Razor's one of your favorites. Did he impress you tonight?
Oh, I was very impressed with this Razor. As Jonathan Pierce said, its crushability factor was on point here.
Well, Razor kicked his ass.
Yeah, good performance from Razor. I guess there is still more to come. So he's got 3 wins now this season. He started off Fight Night 1-0. I think this is a bot that is going to become apparent with a couple more Fight Night rounds. He overall didn't belong in Tier 4. He had to earn his way out of it, but he's finally getting a good string of luck, string of results. Looks great.
Yep. Let's see if this next match can look great too. We have Little Sister versus P1. Both of these bots made it to Fight Night via the qualifiers.
Yeah, and they did it in different ways. Little Sister was fairly convincing in her 2 fights and also got a little fortunate not to have faced Uppercut, whereas P1 really struggled and had to grind his way through, mainly because his weapon was a little more suspect than we would have thought, but they both made it here, and that's a good step.
Well, who do you think could make a deeper run this season?
I'd put my money on Little Sister. Experience goes a long way in this competition, and Little Sister's flipper has looked a lot better than P1's has, so that should be enough.
Alright, well let's go see if Nick's gonna be right or not.
Never know.
I think he's always wrong, so
Sometimes it happens.
we'll find out, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square, it doesn't matter what this bot identifies as, they will still kick your ass! It's Little Sister! In the blue square, the real reason KSI crashed his Lambo is because he wanted to drive something even better. Vroom vroom in my brand new P1!
Let the bot battle begin. Battle here between 2 bots that made it out of the qualifiers, and Little Sister gets the first half flip of the fight.
P1 has clearance now, but we'll see if that's gonna amount to anything.
He's got a good counterattack going on there, but he relinquishes the situation. And Little Sister underneath again, trying to flip him over. And he does so.
Is this gonna be it? Is P1 capable of coming back?
Little Sister is getting in the way at the moment, but P1 is still trying to fire that weapon. It doesn't look like though it has enough strength now. Little Sister has backed off. The countdown beginning on P1. Is the rookie gonna succumb to his first defeat of the season?
Looks like it.
Little Sister with the celebratory dance. This one's over. It's victory for the Brits. Well, not much to look at. It was a fairly short fight, but Little Sister went out there and won the fight convincingly.
Yeah, Little Sister really just got the better ground clearance. P1 tried, but I think the lack of power in his weapon is what caused his loss.
Well, both bots will still have 3 fights left. They both made it out of the qualifiers, so we'll see if P1 can rebound afterwards, but for now, he succumbs to 0-1. Little Sister gets the winning start.
Well,
Don't doubt me.
just this once.
No, sometimes. I feel like I'm right more often than I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's just a bit, you know? Like, it's...
We'll see.
Anyway, it was an interesting result. Little Sister did a good job.
Very good job. That's what I expected from Little Sister, and I expect more good things from this bot. P1, I'm a little worried that he's not going to be able to get the fights he needs to progress and have a good resume, but just get experience while you're here. Have fun with it.
Yeah, he's not wrong this time.
Just do it.
Anyway, going into the next fight, we have Beta versus Mauler. Let's talk about Beta, okay? He was once a big deal when he stormed into Season 2, but he's been on a steep decline since that.
It's been a very steep decline. It's been a hard time getting this hammer bot to function well, function properly, and do some decent damage. This is another build that has a lot of question marks around it. It's definitely better than some of the recent builds of Beta. I don't know, though, if it's got enough.
Well, on the other side, we have Mauler. He's a brand new build making a debut here. What can we expect from him?
I'm expecting big things from this Mauler, as long as he's not facing wedges and flippers, which would expose his obvious fault of not having Shrimak. The weapon hits. The weapon hits hard, and he's a bit bigger too, so he's harder to push around like we saw back in the Season 3 final, say. So I think there's potential in this Mauler build, and I really hope he can match it.
Well, let's see if that's going to be right.
Could be.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Could be wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square. You know, I once wrote an intro that said it's hard to hate this bot, but then, 2020 happened. Everyone boo this man! It's Beta! In the blue square. A face only fitting for a creepy crawler, but a build ready to stand even taller. It's Mauler!
This fight is almost set to begin. Cap, what do you think of the look of Beta's wedge? We know bots like Mauler without a Shrimek don't like wedges and flippers. Could that be something that plays a part in this fight?
Nick, I'm looking at the wedge here, and it doesn't look as sturdy as it has in years past. Beta looks a little smaller, and it looks like that Mauler is a little bigger. So I'm not sure if those flails, those iron spike flails of Mauler aren't just going to wrap around and hit the side, or maybe even the support of Beta. But if Mauler does end up catching one of those ramp plates in the front, it could be all over in just a few seconds.
Let the bot battle begin. We'll see how the bad blood sits between these two after their history from Season 2 where Beta was able to beat Mauler.
Is Beta gonna take a real-life strategy, barely firing his hammer? Well, there he went once.
Both bots tipping as Beta fired the hammer as well, and now Beta getting some nice shots on the top of Mauler. Mauler able to escape. He's also debuting a brand new build.
Oh, and there goes
goes the hammer of Beta! And a ram plate and another ram plate!
See, I was afraid that was gonna happen with some fast shots from Beta.
And maybe Beta was a little reckless with some of those shots, and now he is taking all kinds of punishment from Mauler, who's able to get up to speed. There goes a piece from the support system of the hammer, not as important. But Beta, without the extra armor and without the weapon, is pretty much a sitting duck at this point. There's the smoke.
Just a couple more hits from Mauler and Beta's gonna be done.
He survived that first scare very well. Now he's looking pretty decent. He's just got to avoid the wedge of Beta. Beta could still win the fight by flipping Mauler over. The damage is starting to pile up on Beta. How much longer can they last? Mauler is slowly chipping away as we hit the halfway point. Beta struggling. Beta is done now! Mauler gets the final shot. So Mauler getting revenge for his Season 2 defeat, and after one scare, he made it pretty convincing.
Yeah, really, kudos to Mauler. He did a really good job. He almost did flip over there, which could have cost him the whole match, but as we can see, it didn't.
Hard to tell what's going to happen with this new Beta build. He got a few good shots off early on, but then Mauler quickly ripped off the hammer. I don't know if that was more Beta being reckless or Mauler being good.
I want to say it's just a poor bot matchup. Beta needs to be careful about his firing, and he couldn't really get a good chance to avoid his weapon.
Nick was right again.
Yeah. See, I told you, it's more often than not.
We'll see. This is going to be a long-standing thing this season.
Oh boy, I'm going to have to prove myself time and time again.
Anyway, it was a good fight.
Yeah, very good fight. Mauler nearly got flipped towards the early stages, but once he survived that scare, he looked pretty good, exposing Beta for the flaws that he has. And he'll be expecting another good, tough matchup in the second round, and that'll be a statement for him.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how he does with staying on his feet, to be honest, because not having a Shremek is a pretty ballsy game.
You're pretty much always fighting a little defensively with that in mind. I don't know how people do it, honestly.
I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
But anyway, going into the 6th fight of the night, we have Panic Attack versus Omega 13. Longtime viewers will be happy and nostalgic seeing Omega 13 back on the big stage.
It is nice to see him back. Once upon a time, he made the Season 2 quarterfinal, believe it or not, eventually losing to the champion Son of Waiachi, and the Box on Wheels meme was born. The Dark Horse torch kept getting passed from Omega 13 to other bots in future seasons, but he was the pioneer, and he'll always hold a special place in people's hearts.
Talking about pioneers, kind of, he's going up against a Panic Attack build that has been around for a while and has proven to be a really steady build.
It's true, he was the first ever bot to go unbeaten in recording. He won a lot of fights afterwards. It's been a lot more inconsistent lately as the field has caught up to him, and his design perhaps has become a little more obsolete, but he's still there. He still gets wins. He had an okay Robot Wars Reborn Cup, but he'll be looking for a little bit better.
Well, we're gonna hop on the Oregon Trail for these pioneers down to the box. Just please don't get dysentery.
Arr!
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square, his team members change more than BattleBots changes its hosts. It's Panic Attack Free! In the blue square, light 'em up, he's burning! Feel the rush of adrenaline! Back from the dead, it's Omega 13!
Let the bot battle begin! Omega 13 coming out quick and already riding up the top of Panic Attack, who tries to carry him around. OG fans will remember Omega 13's quarterfinal cup run back in Season 2, where he ultimately lost to Son of Waiachi. Back on the big stage for the first time in a long time, he'll be desperate to impress.
He's somewhat impressive already.
It's impressing as an RC car going over a plastic ramp.
Gymnastics. Could be part of the Olympics.
Panic Attack has his own history, of course. He was the first ever bot to go unbeaten in a recording session, 14-0, the debut episode of Robot Wars Reborn. Both bots have made some noteworthy achievements. Oh, Panic Attack using his Shreemech to flip Omega 13. Well, that was clever.
Smart use of hardware.
That'll definitely get him some strategy points, and Omega 13 earning some control points as he pushes Panic Attack all sorts of around the box. How much damage are those spikes doing? He's got 10 of them, 5 on each side. The spikes of Omega 13 are making it very difficult for him to get under Panic Attack's wedge, but a piece broke off of Panic Attack's lifter, actually. And Omega 13 keeps riding over the top. That's not looking good for him. He's got to find another strategy for that.
It'll be interesting to see, though, if maybe those head-on collisions are part of that strategy, just trying to get rid of that wedge.
To be fair to him, Panic Attack did lose another spike in that build-up. So maybe Omega 13 just needs to keep grinding away at the front there. He's got Panic Attack damaged. Panic Attack trying to get another lift. This is a very outdated bot as well, has fought many seasons. Was once a series semi-finalist in Robot Wars Reborn Cup Season 2. And he's also lost to Son of Waiachi, of course. So these bots have a little bit in common, apparently. A little bit of history, a little bit of common opponents. Both debuting in Season 2. There's a lot of scuff marks on the side of Omega 13 there. So Panic Attack has retaliated in the damage category. Another little chunk of something came off, but I'm not sure who lost that piece.
I feel like this match is going to go the distance.
Certainly looking at as both bots are really canceling each other out. Omega 13 really pushing hard, trying to win whatever points he can in the final 10 seconds here. He's been very controlled from both machines. And I gotta say, as we hit the full-time buzzer here, I don't know who's gonna win it. We're gonna need a judge's decision. Let's take a look at the replays and figure out what talking points we've got. The first one is that Omega 13 lost the ground clearance battle more often than not.
Yeah, Omega 13 really was flying a good portion of the fight.
Let's look at the damage as well. So we know Panic Attack lost 2 of his spikes on the front, but Omega 13 had some chunks out of him on the side. So who wins damage in your opinion?
I don't know. That one I think is probably going to be the hardest one to tell for the judges. Control as well. They both kind of had control of this match, but I do think Omega 13 was controlling a little bit more.
Cap, let's get your take on this very close fight. What do you think is going to make or break this for both bots?
I think all the flips and all the lifts that Panic Attack did are definitely going to make it for him, as Omega 13's pushes didn't seem as important to me as all the big flips that Panic Attack got.
The results from the judges are in. We have a split decision. Judge Cap scored the battle for Panic Attack. Judge Rich scored the battle for Omega 13. Judge Nick scored the battle for your winner, Panic Attack!
Kudos to the judges. I would not have been able to decide this match.
Very, very close. I think that fight could have gone either way, I really do. But credit to both bots. They hung in there, they dug deep, and they did what they could to win it, given the circumstances. Both may want to go back to the drawing board because you never want to leave it that close. So Panic Attack should also be concerned.
Well, we'll see what changes might happen in the future, but as for right now, they both did a really good job. They fought for their lives. Going into the 7th match of the night, we have Ice Wave versus Warhead. We hear that Captain Mantine has some important information on the fight. Cap, what do you have for us? I'll be nice this time.
Thank you, Sam. And in contrast to what you just said, I'm not going to be nice. F*** you. Anyway, coming to this next fight, Warhead has chosen the Dino Head, which I don't know if I agree with that, honestly. I don't think that it's going to be able to hold up to that new and improved spinner of Ice Wave, and I can't say that I like the damage potential. I don't even know if it can control Ice Wave very well, but, you know, I'm not Ian Lewis, so I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes for them, and I wish them the best of luck.
Well, that changes the discussion that we had a little bit. How do you think his strategy is going to go?
Well, that's a very bold tactic to have an untested Dino Head in the first round of Fight Night against Ice Wave, but we don't know if this could be a stroke of genius that we're not seeing. Sometimes crazy ideas work like this, so let's see it. Let's do it.
Well, how does Ice Wave counter Warhead's tactics? How should he approach this fight?
Well, he's got to find a way to avoid the jaws in the front and maybe take out the arms so that he can then get to the side a little bit easier. Because Warhead's got that wide stance up front, and it's going to be a lot harder now to avoid, so he's just got to find a way to dance around it. That's the only way.
Well, let's go on down to the box to see this Dino Head in action. I'm quite excited, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square, you have more of a chance of surviving an ascent up Mount Everest than fighting this bot. It's Ice Wave! In the blue square, he's gonna dinosaur past you in the standings with his prehistoric existence. It's Warhead!
Let the bot battle begin. Warhead coming out fast, trying to close down Ice Wave and get that bar jammed up immediately.
Didn't quite succeed.
Oh!
Nice hit.
Big hit sends Ice Wave shaking, but he's okay. And he comes back to get another strong hit on the jaw of Warhead, but he takes it like a champ.
Weapon is slowed down considerably. Needs to get away to get some distance for the speed to come back up.
Looked like Warhead lost his bearings there for a moment.
Looks like Warhead lost half of his face.
Oh, there goes the hammer off of Ice Wave! Warhead turned around to face him with the tail, and I think that's what broke it off.
Interesting strategy from Warhead.
Oh, he's lost the
both
other!
of them.
A major turning point early. Ice Wave has had his bar significantly compromised. Meanwhile, Warhead, what is his head doing? Half of it's up and half of it's down. He's suffered too many blows to the head, probably has CTE now. So now we are at an interesting crossroads. Warhead has suffered significant damage everywhere on that bot, but Ice Wave's weapon is pretty much done and useless. So now both bots have to figure out a new way to earn points. Ice Wave so far is shoving Warhead around. And he maybe take him to one of the arena hazards, perhaps.
Maybe part of his strategy is just trying to gain more points in certain categories.
At this point, it's going to be very tough to earn the damage ones, so like you said, maybe he should just forget about that and go for aggression, go for strategy. What would you be willing to sacrifice to win your first fight? Both bots very dazed and confused at the moment. Warhead continues to lead with the tail for some reason. Perhaps he thinks that's a little bit of a better strategy for him.
Yeah, he's thinking maybe that's probably going to give him the most damage.
It also seems like the jaws have stopped retracting upward, so his hand might have been forced. You gotta think too, that's where he might have more pushing power, driving straight on at Ice Wave, so he's losing a bit of aggression here, because Ice Wave can push. Not much long left in this fight, and the judges might be needed once again.
I'm loving the long distance fights. It's interesting down to the minute.
Especially ones as close as this, with hits as dramatic as this. Final 10 seconds just starting now. It's going the distance. There's a stalemate in the center of the arena. Ice Wave trying to push back, but Warhead resists and holds on for a judge's decision. Well, there's a lot to discuss here. So the fact that Warhead brought out the Dino Head was a head scratcher, but it kind of worked.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if the Dino Head worked, or specifically the tail.
If it was the tail, it was good improvisation, but Ice Wave certainly couldn't handle it, losing both hammers in quick succession, and that's where the fight hit a stalemate.
Yeah, Ice Wave did do a decent bit of damage before he lost his weapon, but for the judges, will it be enough?
I feel like one of the deciding categories will have to be strategy, so where do we rate Warhead's strategy of going with the Dino Head and then switching to the tail?
I don't know if it was intended strategy or if it was spur of the moment strategy, but we'll see what the judges decide.
The results from the judges are in. We have a split decision. Judge Matt scored the battle for Ice Wave. Judge Nick scored the battle for Warhead. Judge Cap scored the battle for your winner. Ice Wave!
Well, that was interesting to watch. Very close, split decision yet again. It'll be interesting to see, though, how moving forward that Dino Head can be used, because it did kind of fail halfway.
I'll give him credit. It definitely did some damage and impacted the fight, but like you said, it wasn't the cleanest because it wasn't working towards the end, and maybe if it was working, he could have gotten a few more points in any category to have won the fight, but Ice Wave didn't see that coming, clearly, so he will be happy he skated out of there with a win.
Well, the Dino Head's prehistoric news, because we are going into the final match of the night. The main event, we have Cobalt versus Surgeon General. Both bots have new builds, which is very interesting. But let's start with Cobalt. What can you tell us about him?
So it's a upgraded build from the builder of recent years, Blood Spartan, and he's taken his time with this one. He's fine-tuned the weapon, he's fine-tuned the decals, he's fine-tuned the wedge. He's very confident that this bot can go far, so there's a lot of expectations on Cobalt after having a pretty unfortunate Season 5.
Well, as for Surgeon General, his new build features a peculiar trick.
Yeah, so the builder for this one decided to add in a little trick piece that at the very start of the fight, if he decides he wants to go from undercutter mode to normal horizontal mode, he can quickly flip himself and then start the fight that way. But that's the only time he can use it. He can't use it in the middle of a fight if he gets flipped or anything. So it gives Surgeon General a little bit more of a strategic advantage in certain fights that I don't know if he's going to need it in this one. I don't know what his tactic will be, but he could try something new.
It'll be interesting to see, that's for sure. Well, since you've all been waiting for it, let's head on down to the box to watch the main event.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! In the red square, it took lots of blood, sweat and tears, but this bot will confirm your worst fears. If you lose, it's not your fault, because you had to deal with Cobalt! In the blue square. Attention! You maggots are about to go through 4 weeks of combat hell! If you're too much of a wuss to handle it, speak now! Here to rip you into shape, it's Surgeon General!
They've both been near the top before, but not as often as they'd like. Now, Cobalt and Surgeon General share the main event stage, hoping for the ideal 1-0 start. With all eyes upon them, with the box locked, it's time to back up the talk and show everyone why they deserve the spotlight. It's time for the main event. Let the main event begin. Cobalt coming out quick and taking some parts off, but he's also flipped himself. What happened?
See, if one were smart, they would have left in there.
Surgeon General is moving in, trying to figure out what he should do. He's also confused. But it looks like this fight is gonna end just as quickly as it started. They're counting out Cobalt already.
That's insane, but smart strategy.
And sure enough, Surgeon General walks away with the main event win, just like that. Well, that was quick.
Yeah, really rushing out of the box did not do him any good.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened. It looks like he hits the wheel guard, breaking some of it off, but I'm not sure how he got flipped in that moment.
Again, momentum, I believe. I think he thought that coming out of the box nice and hot was gonna secure him some damage, but it indeed secured him his loss.
Backfired plan means Surgeon General gets a quick win.
Well, interesting.
That was unfortunate. I mean, we were due for a main event that didn't live up to the hype.
I don't know, I kind of thought it was interesting. Kind of just zoomed off from the back, kind of screwed himself over.
It was definitely unexpected, that's for sure. I'm sure there's some people in the comments that are a little upset with that. But hey, the important thing is for Cobalt, that will not define his season. He's still going to have 3 more fights guaranteed to turn it around. He just made it a little more difficult on himself.
It does kind of suck, but hey, it is what it is. But the fights tonight were really interesting. We had some dino head action. We had a peculiar trick from Surgeon General that had not been used, so pay attention in the future.
A few British bots won too. Razor looked good, Little Sister looked good. I'm eager to see more from both of them, so I think we have a lot of information to process tonight, and so do the bots. So we'll see who's able to come into round 2 and put in a good performance.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
That's all for tonight, unfortunately. We've got another episode coming up, hopefully in 2 weeks. I don't know exactly when, but it'll be the final episode of round 1 of fights. So if you haven't seen a bot yet, you will see them in the next episode. That'll be really exciting.
He said final, and I was like, what?
Yeah, season's already over, guys.
Bye!
This was pre-season. Everyone's just getting a fight in.
Anyways, I am the Sam,
I'm the Nick.
and that's it. And get out.
Yeah, go.
Leave.
I'm gonna play some Cold War.
You're still here?
Look, it's Tito.
It is Tito. See, it's Tito.
It's Tito.
Yeah.